Yes, Alfredo, that's the most popular of the countdown clocks. And say hello to Chris. Right, now this show is special. This show is driven by your comments and your questions. If you have any questions, then please ask them. Now, as I'm sat in the studio, there's a question from Nick Wood earlier about remote assistant. All I can say is I can still see remote assistant in my studio. So best thing to do is to actually message BeLive from your studio. Click the question mark bottom right, click chat and say hello and say where is remote assistant, and somebody will be along and will help you. And I'm grateful for everybody watching today. And Alfredo was saying no audio. Hopefully there is now. No, and okay, thank you, Chris. The sound is okay now. That was my fault. This is live video. Things are occasionally going to go wrong, and it's the most important thing is the way you react. If you have no sound, check your microphone, make sure it's actually switched on. I switch mine off during the video countdown clock so that I don't accidentally talk over it and then I forget to switch it back on again, which is not a good idea. If you can't hear your guest or they can't hear you, then refresh. And 99% of the time, any problems of not being able to hear each other will be cured by refresh. And it's as simple as that. Just refresh the browser tab. Always use Chrome. And that's best advice. The best advice is to actually use Chrome as your browser. And I'm going to switch over now. I'm using XSplit VCam, and I'm going to switch my background in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we have a new background. Countdown clock's disappeared, but I'm still talking and hopefully making sense. Now, we do have lots of things to look forward to. I can't tell you what they are, but there are exciting changes on their way, which will be available to all. And question from Chris, how can we refresh? On your browser tab, top left-hand corner is a little circular arrow, and you just say reload this page, and the tab is refreshed. And as I say, 99 times out of 100, that will cure any problems that there are with the broadcast. Also with guests and with your own sound as well. Now, if you've got any questions, then please do ask. I'm here to answer your questions. This broadcast is fueled by your questions. And I mean, I brought things with me to actually talk about. One of the things that has happened in the last month or 2 months or so is the ability to use OBS as a virtual camera on Mac. Windows has been catered for years. There is now a Mac version. If you download OBS, then you download OBS virtual camera for Mac. You can bring an OBS camera into your BeLive broadcast. Now, with an OBS camera, you can actually switch scenes. And I'm going to switch scenes now. I'm just going to go for static scene. And let's go there. Okay. Right. So I'm moving. The screen's not moving now. Okay. And over to Alfredo. Alfredo's saying, when live on your public profile and not page. Can you just refine that question, Alfredo? Because you can be live on both at the same time now on BeLive. And Facebook user is saying, how can I buy the BeLive yearly software? Right, you can buy it on the BeLive page, and you go to the pricing tab, and you then enter who you are, and you can pay via PayPal. Now, if you don't have a PayPal account, it's free to open one up. Attach your credit card that you want to use, your existing card, to your PayPal account and tell PayPal to use that card. So you don't have to keep money in PayPal for this to work. You just have to be in a situation where you can create the PayPal account, attach your credit or debit card, and then pay via PayPal. and the details are on the pricing page on Belivers. Okay, and a longer explanation, and I'm going to have to really stretch. So we can't have more than 1 hour, and sometimes stop at 45 minutes. My live will stop, and I send the guest link to the guest, but they can't open the link from mobile, even Google Chrome. Also, in this condition, what do I do? Right. Okay. Occasionally, there will be problems. This is live video after all. What I would suggest, and I'm just trying to get rid of that. That's better. What I would suggest is that you contact BeLive support. If you go into your BeLive studio, bottom right, question mark, and contact support, they will be able to help you. Not everybody, 99.9% of people can actually broadcast successfully. So it's a very high proportion of people who don't have problems. The causes of problems are as follows. I'm on internet at the moment, but I'm on Wi-Fi. I could have a better signal if it was wired. So if you get your internet wired, that's step one. Step two is to make sure that nobody else is using the internet when you are. What happens is you can start off, and then if people start watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or playing games, then they're using your bandwidth if they're in the same building as you. What you ideally want to do is to say to people, right, okay, I'm broadcasting for the next half hour, the next 60 minutes. Please do not use the internet to watch video or play video games. That's the second thing. And the third thing is your internet speed. If your internet speed is not high enough. Now, if you're hosting a show, you do need to have an upload speed of at least 5 megabytes. Anything less than that can be done. I know Bridgette's done it with 1.5. She's hosted shows. She's in South Africa, in Cape Town. She's hosted shows with 1.5 megabytes up, but it is difficult. What you can do also is you can actually reduce the quality of your video. Now, this is a big thing. At the moment, you can see me, I'm in 720, okay, which is pretty high resolution. I can drop down to 480, or I can drop down to 360. If you're having problems with your internet, then please do try broadcasting at 480 or even 360. It works. It's a reasonable quality picture. The higher the number, the better quality of the picture. But if you have a situation where you're having problems with the internet, then lower the speed. And if you go to your image in the BeLive studio, you can see the drop down, which camera you're using and which resolution do you want to use. I'm on 720. You can drop down to 480 or 360. 480 is the standard, and most people will be on that. 720 if you've got a higher spec PC, and then 360 if you've got an older machine. You'll still get a signal. Now, when there is a problem with the internet, the first thing to go is your image, because it simply can't carry it. And you'll notice that your image goes, but your voice will stay. The reason is that there isn't enough internet power from where you are. If you're on mobile phone, you need to be static. You need a good signal. Preferably, you should be on Wi-Fi rather than 4 or 5G. So there are things that you can do to mitigate it. But if you're having a consistent problem, then please do speak to BeLive support from within your studio. Or if that's, then you can, I'll actually come live with you and we can actually do a few tests. But you do need nobody else using the internet, good internet speed, and that should be sufficient. And over to David Estrada Oru. Hi Stephen, why can't you see users' picture when you share their comments on air? Right, I'm going to post a link. Right, okay, I posted a link. It's working this week. In 2019, Facebook was told by its users to tighten up on security. And the way that they did this, broadcasting your personal profile is fine. Broadcasting a business page is public, no problem there. But if you've got a private group, then the people in the group can see who's speaking, but Facebook decided that software, which is actually broadcasting into the group, should not be able to see your image or your name unless you had given express permission. Now, I've just posted a link, and I'll come to the comments in a minute, but I want to go to this link. If your comments do not have a picture or a name when I display them on screen, it's because you need to click this link. You need to click this link once, and that covers you for all BeLive broadcasts in all private groups. This is a case of Facebook protecting us so that there are no, they want us to give permission to BeLive. Yeah, and that permission has to be express that there are going to be no security breaches. So individually, we give permission to BeLive to actually show our picture and our comments. If you're using BeLive, the link that I've just shared, this one, you can use that in any of your groups and just say to people, if you want me to show you comments on screen with your picture, could you please click that link once? And then you'll be able to see the comments from then on. Okay, let's go back. So that's the original question from David. Why can't you see users' pictures when you show the comments in there? Hopefully that's helped. One link solves it all. Over to Alfredo, and Alfredo is in BeLive territory at the moment. Right, okay. Alfredo's saying, I tried to install macOS 10.11 and OBS Virtual Camera. It did not work with older versions of OBS. I can understand that. The extension has been written in 2020. It was first available in May. This is the OBS Virtual Camera for Mac. It was first available in May, and it will be using the latest technology, Alfredo. So if you've got an older Mac, then it may well not work. But if you've got a Mac which is 2 to 3 years old, then you should be okay. And over to Gospel. Hello. Hello, Gospel. Nice to see you. And back to Alfredo. And Alfredo's saying, welcome to Gospel. I love it when people actually talk. And that's a nice background. Thank you. Thank you. I've no idea where it is. I just love changing the background. And that's the FAQ I mentioned. And over to Sherry. And Sherry is saying, love your platform. Thank you. And it's a delight to have you with us. And if you need help at any time, then please just ask. And the next comment. And Debbie's saying, awesome. Thank you. You're more than welcome. And John Upton has a question, which is nothing at all to do with this broadcast today, which is normal. I've got to say, John, that today we've been out for a 4-mile walk, 10,000 steps in total. And it's a beautiful sunny day down in Wiltshire. There is no rain, and it's good to be having the week off. And this is the only broadcast I'm doing this week. And no, it's not raining. And it's not supposed to rain for the rest of this week. It's supposed to get warmer. We're in the UK. John's in the Midlands. And he and I did 2 shows together every week, which is Blabbing for Britain and Inspired by NVIDIA. Over to Kifas. And if I pronounce anybody's name wrongly, then do forgive me. Okay. Can Facebook have background settings feature without using BeLive? That's Stephen Healey. Can Facebook have it? I don't think you could. Yes, you can. Of course you can. When you set up your camera on Facebook Live, then you want a virtual camera which has the background on it. Now, I use XSplit VCam. Equally well, you could use OBS with the OBS virtual camera, or Keycam, or SparkoCam. All of those will give you a virtual background on an ordinary Facebook Live. Anything you can do on BeLive, you can do on an ordinary Facebook Live in relation to backgrounds. You have to download the software. So I downloaded XSplit VCam. I pay $60 a year for it, or you can buy it for $40. In addition to that, you can use Ecamm, which has a monthly subscription in addition to your BeLive one, or OBS is free. OBS has a virtual camera. If you go onto YouTube and you type in OBS virtual camera, you'll get the instructions as how to install it for both Windows and Mac, and the Mac part is important. OBS does have its own green screen. I tried it last week. It's pretty good. So OBS would be my recommendation at the moment, unless you want to go for the top of the range, which is XSplit VCam. So OBS, and down a bit further down the road is Spark OCam. So yes, you can. Anything I'm doing here with backgrounds, you can do on Facebook Live, although it has to be said, it looks better on BeLive. Okay, and over to the next question. Thank you for joining us today. Kenyon, nice to see you, Kenyon. Once, forever. It's right, okay. When I said click once, it was click once. You just click that once, and that will cover you for every single broadcast from BeLive, wherever the group is, because you're given permission to BeLive to actually show your photograph and your name on any BeLive broadcast. If you went on other systems, then you'd have to click their link to give permission for them. But on BeLive, it's just that one link, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, this is the annoying thing. It doesn't say, you know, you're okay now. You just know next time you actually make a comment that it's actually working. If you do have a problem with it, and 99.9% it works. If you do have an occasional problem, then do please contact BeLive support from your studio, clicking the question mark in the bottom right hand corner, and all be well. I just want to adjust my monitor for a minute. No, hang on. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. This is live. What I'm going to do, take my life in my hands, and I'm going to switch on. Just a moment. Forgive me for a moment. Okay, I switched on my lighting. I've gone a bit redder, and I've kicked the desk, but I don't have the annoying bit at the end. Now, this makes the point. I'll come back to that Bosco in a minute. I'm using XSplit VCam, and I can put my hands up and you can see my fingers. Well, you can see my fingers there. This is where I'm broadcasting from. Okay, I have a green screen behind me, a physical green screen, a movable green screen, and it's there to help. Now, as you can see, it's doing a darn good job. But the next thing you need, next thing you should have, and I'm just going to bring back another picture. The next thing you need is, I'm just looking for my favorite picture. Just forgive me a second. Okay. The next thing you need is lighting. Now, if you do green screening without lights, you'll get a reasonable picture. If you want a better quality picture, then you need lights. And I've got a softbox either side of me pointing towards the wall. The light is reflected back onto me. That's the perfect setup. So the perfect setup for a green screen to work and to be professional is have a green screen behind you, have lighting, and then you can bring in an image and the image will work. So green screen and lighting, if you can. Now the green screen is around about $60 last time I checked, and the lighting is around about $90, but you could use a ring light. You just need some lighting to actually improve the quality of the video. So let's catch up, and over to Bosco. I'm good, thank you. Hopefully, Bosco, you can now broadcast on YouTube, and I look forward to you broadcasting on YouTube this week. And over to Bosco again. Right, a question. That bespoke background, can a guest create his or own, or only the host? If yes, how is my next episode as a guest who wants virtual background? Right. In order to have a virtual background, which for each person, then they've got to have their own setup. They've got to have their own copy of XSplit or OBS. So each camera needs its own backdrop. If you look at any recent episode of Blabbing for Britain, John has got his own copy of XSplit. Peter has got his own copy of XSplit, and I've got my own copy of XSplit. And that means that we can all have individual backdrops. So it's got to be on a guest basis. You've got to say to them, if you want to look your best I mean, ideally, one of the best uses of a green screen is to actually show where you are. So if you want to say to them, look, you need to get a green screen. Yeah, so it is per individual. Okay, and I do know, I mean, this technology is $40 one-off payment. I do know that on the roadmap for BeLive is BeLive's own green screen, but that's down the road. For the moment, paying the $40, you're going to get it working today. Oh, thank you. I'll leave that on screen for a minute. No, that's very kind of you, Bosco. Very kind, because you and I chat behind the scenes. If anybody wants to chat to me anytime on Messenger, then my door is always open, as Bosco knows. What is my upload speed now? Right, okay. Okay. Right, you're asking, aren't you? Right, okay. My upload speed is 5 megabytes. I live in Wiltshire, which is live pretty close to Stonehenge, really. I'm out in the sticks, out in the countryside. This is farming country, and we don't have the best internet in the world. And the best upload speed I can get, whatever I do, is 5 megabytes. But I'm not the only person using the internet at the moment. My partner Angelica is surfing the internet, trying to work out how to use a kitchen gadget we bought today. So there are two of us actually sharing that 5 megabytes at the moment, and this is the quality that I'm getting. Now, in terms of the quality of signal, internet speed is one factor. The second is the power of your computer. Now, I'm going to say this, the newer your computer, the better the signal that you're going to get. Now, earlier today, my kit list was published. And from that, you'll be able to, in the Belivers group, you'll be able to tell that I've got a Microsoft Surface Book 2, 16 gig of RAM and 2 GPUs. And that's basically why my picture is so good. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's good. The better the computer you can have, then the more powerful it is. The better your internet speed. Those are the two major factors, is the power of your computer and your internet speed. And so there you are, but I'm only got 5 megabytes up. I would happily settle for more if somebody wants to come over to Wiltshire and put cable down. Then, well, perhaps John, you could send somebody from the Midlands, like Virgin. Okay, and Kefas, you're more than welcome. Try OBS. There are videos on YouTube about OBS. I'm going to be doing a video about OBS either later this week or early next week about how to actually set it up, because I've been having a look at it. Okay, and over to Kenyon. OBS is better for chroma key, and oh, thank you, brilliant. Okay, OBS is better for chroma key and green screen. Videos on my YouTube channel, and you've got the channel name there on live streaming in OBS. Brilliant, Kenyon, you are the man. Thank you for that. So go and check out Kenyon's channel, and you find all about OBS and chroma key and green screen. Thank you for that. And it works whether you're Windows or Mac, and that's the beauty of it. And it's all free. Now, when we say free, we don't mean it doesn't cost a penny. It doesn't cost a cent. But what it does mean is you've got to invest some time. Systems like BeLive are what is known as turnkey systems. So you come into the studio, connect your camera, click the button, you're live. It's not the same with OBS, vMix, or what's the other one called? Well, it's not the same with other systems. You've got to learn. You've got a learning curve. It's not a steep learning curve, but you do have to put in some time to get used to the system. All the systems that we've talked about have got XSplit Broadcaster, vMix, OBS, all have a virtual camera that you can use in BeLive, and you can bring your studio into BeLive, and you can do all sorts of whizzy things, which I'll be taking a look at. But Kenyon, thank you. Any questions about OBS, check out Kenyon's channel. And Kenyon, again, you can also learn how to create a good green screen for less than $10. Even better. Right. Okay. And morning, Jerry. Nice to see you. And in this morning's broadcast of mine, the comments didn't come through. Okay. If you could actually message BeLive from your studio now that the broadcast is finished, and just let them know. As you can see today, my comments are working. It's basically, let's talk a moment about what happens when Jerry typed that comment in the Belivers group. Facebook saw that comment, saw it was attached to a live broadcast. This is all Facebook. BeLive don't do any of this. Facebook decided that comment was attached to a live broadcast and sent it over to BeLive so that BeLive could process it. BeLive see the comment, they see it's attached to your video, and they display it in your studio. So it starts with Facebook, BeLive, and BeLive. Now, the bottleneck, as far as I know, is with Facebook not sending the comments through to BeLive. This happens at peak times, and if Facebook don't send the comments to BeLive, then BeLive can't process them and display them in your studio. That's where it's breaking down. But if you do, Joe, if you do mention it to BeLive so that they know, if you put a link into your broadcast so that they can actually check, then the more information you give them, the easier it is for them to approach Facebook and say, okay, we're experiencing delays in handling comments. This is what our users say. Is there anything that can be done? Yeah, because the whole thing starts with Facebook. Okay, so please do that. Please contact BeLive support from your studio. And Sharif, nice to see you. Vida, hi Stephen, how can I get a dynamic theme like the one we see on the news channels? Right, okay, yes. I know what you mean. Let's just go with what you mean for a moment. If I go for my overlays, and I'm going to go overlay, I'm going to bring in an overlay. I'm going to apply it. Okay, and I'm not sure whether that's a good one or not. Just a minute. Oh, sorry, I was testing with that one. Oh, these things happen. We are live. Just a moment. Let me bring in another overlay, and I'll go for this one. Okay, so I've now got an overlay on screen. This is what Sharif is talking about. Sharif would like the overlay above me to actually be a moving overlay with GIFs. It can't be at the moment. It is an image overlay. I've no doubt that down the road GIF overlays will come, but for the moment it's difficult to do it within BeLive. What you could do, an alternative to this, is, I know we've mentioned OBS a lot today. Okay, with BeLive, Zoom, similar systems, you can only have a static third, lower third, or top third, or whatever you want to call it. It's going to be static because the technology hasn't been done yet to actually make it to be able to use GIFs. If you want to have, and you're broadcasting alone, I'm going to say this, if you're broadcasting on your own and you want to have scrolling and flashing images, then go to OBS, or go to vMix, and use OBS, vMix, or XSplit as your virtual camera. This is XSplit Broadcaster. Use a virtual camera with vMix, OBS, and XSplit. You can have scrolling anything and everything. Yeah, bit of work involved. But if you go to OBS, then OBS allows us to actually create our own. Okay, so our own moving graphics can be displayed on the screen. And that's the difference. That's the learning curve. That's why, you know, if you want to take the next step, the next generation, go and learn about OBS, and you can learn about it with Kenyon, or learn about vMix, and you can do that with Tom Sinclair, or learn about XSplit Broadcaster, and you can do that with me. Then they come into your system as a virtual camera, and you can have scrolling everything. You can have GIFs that go on and off. You can have scrolling bar at the top, scrolling bar at the top, scrolling bar down the side. All of this is possible, providing that you do the legwork and learn how to use another system. Now, OBS is free. That's why we're pushing OBS, because OBS is free. It's just you've got to learn it, and then you can bring it into your studio. So you can't do it natively with BeLive or Zoom or anything like that, but you can do your own. And back over to Kenyon. Kenyon's saying green screen lighting your green screen first to eliminate hotspots. This will eliminate a static background. Then you, all right, it's a big comment. Then you light yourself, lights flanking each side, overhead, full body view and front lighting. I've been able to get with 3 softbox lights, but 4 to 5 will get you perfect. Okay. So in other words, what Kenyon is saying is the more light, the better, but do experiment. I mean, this is the whole thing about live video. You're building your studio. You're improving what people can see. And we do know that the better quality video that you're putting out, then the more people are likely to stop scrolling and actually look at what you're doing. If I was live on a Facebook page and I suddenly changed my background to this, and I'm going to do it now. If I change my background to a moving background, then people will be drawn to it. I know this works. So perfect your show. This is your broadcast, and the quality of the video is important. So is the sound. Right, I'm going to switch back and let's go to another place. Where shall we go? I'm trying to get to Glasgow. I'll go back to Glasgow. This is Edinburgh, by the way. Not Glasgow. Both in Scotland. Easy to get confused. Right, I'm going to take the overlay off. So we talked about you can do your own overlays if you come in with a virtual camera and use something like OBS. Yeah. Okay. And over to Kenyon. And Kenyon is saying, let me know if you need a guest to explain a lot about live streaming. OBS, I've been doing it for a while and done a lot. I may well take you up on that, Kenyon. I'm doing a series of live interviews, and I'll get in contact with you, most certainly. Thank you for the offer. Over to Jerry. Thank you, Stephen. Most welcome, most welcome. And over to Sharif, who's saying exactly, if I mispronounce anybody's name, then please do forgive me. I am trying to say everybody's name correctly. And over to Kenyon again. Right, okay, and thank you for answering. Any link for OBS? Yeah, well, if you go to obs.com, I think Kenyon's got some more information on that. OBS, you can manually create overlays in PS. PS. Okay, I'm going to go with that. And then Streamlabs version of OBS has a gamer-based overlays. Yeah. For a premium cost, you may find something you like. Brilliant. Okay. I love it when I actually meet new people and friends as well. Chris is saying, please can you show us how we can use Crisp? Since this afternoon I've got my laptop back and I also have wide intake. Can now prepare our interview. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's see if I can do a screen share. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully with an application window. I'm not sure whether, just a minute, I'm going to try and do this. This may or may not work. No, I can't. I can, I'll do some preparation, but basically I can't share it because it doesn't have its own window. It would be nice, but it doesn't have its own window. So back to me. I'll cancel that. Crisp, basically, you install it and then you choose your microphone, and that's it. There's no high-tech stuff. Install Crisp, connect your microphone, and 99 times out of 100, it simply works. I don't have a tutorial on Crisp, I don't think. I might do one before the 3rd of August. So I'll try my best, Chris. So I can't demonstrate Chris live, but I will do a video about it. Okay, and on to more comments. I love all the comments coming in. And there you are. Let's go back to Sharif, who is saying, do you have a link? And Kenyon, thank you for the link. Okay, so obsprojects.com, you simply download it, install it, and then go over to Kenyon's YouTube channel and check out his training videos. And that will get you up to speed on how to run OBS, how to bring OBS into a system like BeLive, and how to actually get green screens working as well, because it's not rocket science, but it takes practice, and Kenyon will help you do all that. Okay, and again, the comments, and out to Kenyon, obsproject.com, and the next comment is coming in from Chris. You're more than welcome, Chris. I always love explaining things, and crisp is perhaps a good one. I will find time to actually do that. Okay, so we've come to a situation where, thank you to everybody who's watching live, and thank you to I want to say thank you to Jerry and to Kenyon and to Bosco for actually liking the post, and to everybody who's watching live. If you've got any questions, then please do ask them. This is what I love doing, is actually going live and answering questions, and this broadcast goes out at 5 o'clock, sorry, 12 p.m. Eastern. When I'm broadcasting, I live in Eastern time. Ever since the days of BeLive 5 years ago, we're going live at 12 p.m. Eastern. Okay, what time is it in the UK? We now know there's a 5-hour time difference, so I try to time my shows that they go live between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern, and that's a long-standing thing. I always think when I'm actually creating a show, I live on Eastern time, and if I know that if I do it at 12 p.m. Eastern, then it is 9 a.m. on the West Coast as well. Okay, so messages. If you have any more messages or questions, then please do ask them. Right, I'm going to do a video. I just want to go and I just want to change my screen layout to the classic one. I can go side by side. Okay, now I've been asked, how do I actually create these countdown clocks, and why do I use them? Okay, first of all, why you should use a countdown clock. Countdown clock, basically, we are now able to go live to Facebook and YouTube, and down the road, we'll be able to go live to other places too. The connection time to Facebook is different from the connection time to YouTube. So if I go live in the Belivers group and I start talking straight away, the people who are watching over on YouTube won't hear the first few sentences, which is not fair to them. So if you use a countdown clock, then you're actually covering both Facebook, YouTube, and anything else that happens. All should be connected within a minute. The other thing you're doing is, if you've not scheduled your show, then it gives you a chance for during that 60 seconds to actually share it out. So you can share the broadcast, you can share it to your business pages, you can do shares to Twitter, you can do shares everywhere, Instagram. You can share your show everywhere. And the third thing is that if you've got a guest, I know this to be a fact, if you give them an extra 60 seconds to sort themselves out, then they're grateful for it, because it allows them, you've actually been talking to them, you go live with the video, and the video plays, and you go an extra 60 seconds to sort of calm the nerves if you've got any, and to go live. So countdown clocks are here to stay. The more systems we actually broadcast to, I mean, Restream.io goes to 30 different channels, and that means 30 different connections, 30 different times. And you've got a situation there where Facebook is different to Periscope, which is different to Vimeo, which is different. You with me? So having a countdown clock. Now, you don't have to have a countdown clock that goes for the full minute. You can actually, as I've just done there, I'm going to zap that if I do. You can have a countdown clock which goes for 35 seconds, 33 seconds, 30 seconds. Simply by bringing it on screen, fast forward, just like you do with, fast forward to 30 seconds and then press play from 30 seconds. And your countdown is now 29 seconds. Yeah. So countdown clocks, I've got them set to a minute because it covers all eventualities, but you could use them and just set them for times to suit yourself. And over to more comments. Sharif, any tip regarding link granting permission to show comments in the Facebook closed group rather than posting a link into the broadcast? Yeah. The link, you could actually put it in the header. It could be in the post as you post it. And there's some people who do. When they're going live in a group, they can say, click the link up above if you're going to comment. That's the simplest way to do it. There's never going to be a stage where it's automatic. You've got your guest or your viewers have got to click the link once and only once. But what you could do is, I'll tell you what I do, and it's possibly good practice. After this broadcast, I take a break just to relax for about an hour, and then I come back and I answer everybody's comments, because I know that in a live broadcast I'm going to miss some of your comments. For that I apologize, but I come back and I read all the comments, and I love all the comments, and I also reply to the comments where I can give more information than I have done verbally on screen. The other thing you can do is, if you remember whose picture you didn't see, then you can reply and say, could you please click this link for my next show? Yeah, so that next time you broadcast, then you will see the name and the picture. And I've done that, I think, about 10 times in the last 4 weeks. I've actually reached out to people individually and said, please click this link. And that's possibly the most effective way of doing it. Live video is one of two things. It's either about broadcasting, in other words, I've got a story to tell and you're going to listen, and you do an enthralling broadcast, which we all do, of course, or it's about networking. And if it's about networking, what you do after your live broadcast is as important as the broadcast itself. You should be on some of your shows going through the comments afterwards and touching base with people, and either replying, which is good, or message them in Messenger and make a new contact. The more that you do in relation to your live broadcast afterwards, the better, the more your reputation grows for actually, first of all, knowing what you're talking about, and two, caring. And what we want to be able to do is to actually connect with people as people, not as viewer numbers. So it's not about viewer numbers, it's about interaction. Okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now, and I'm going to go back to the latest comment, and right, so that's my tip, Sharif, for that. And over to Kenyon. And Kenyon, start with this video. You can jump in to find what you need. This is one of two videos for new beginners using OBS. So thank you, Kenyon, for that. And new connections made. This is about networking. You can help each other. And say hello to Cedric. Welcome, and welcome to the broadcast. And back to Sharif, who's saying great thanks. And over to Furman. I've missed you. Welcome, Furman. Nice to see you. Now, this is a good point. Furman has commented on the broadcast today. Now you can see that Furman has posted an icon, a graphic. Unfortunately, if you comment with a graphic on any live broadcast, we can't see what the graphic is until afterwards. So this is one situation where if you type in what you want to say, then put the graphic. But thank you for being here today. And okay, I'm coming. Oh, right. Okay, Kenyon. And Kenyon is saying, I made my own starting soon countdown clock in OBS. I have motion background, 3 different scenes with information that switch every minute with advertising screen switcher. So I'll do is hit record in OBS, click on the first scene, run it for 5 minutes of the video, and then stop recording. Boom, I have my starting countdown clock. Okay, now we all have different ways of doing things, and this is the beauty of it. You do it your way. You watch what everybody else is doing, and you pick out the way which best suits you. Okay, so please do go and watch the videos about OBS, because that will stand you in good stead in going next generation broadcasting and bringing more things, useful things, to actually make your broadcast more attractive. And I want to give a big shout out to Kenyon for all the comments today. Right, so I'm going to put together a video about creating countdown clocks. I've created so far about 50 countdown clocks, and they're in use on live broadcasts. They're not branded. I know Brigetti is doing our own branded ones, and they're darn good too. I look forward to watching some of Kenyon's. Now I've got this. I don't know why I've got this. Let me just bring this up on screen. Let me hide that. I just want to see what it is. Oh, right, okay. Commercial break, sort of. In the property, this is about Wi-Fi. In the property that I'm in, it's an old property, and cabling is just not an option. You couldn't lay cables without tripping over them or ripping walls out. Or so the solution I found is this. It's called Deco, and it's a Wi-Fi network, plugs into your router, and it simply works. Now, you don't have to take my word for this. If you have internet and you want to go Wi-Fi, these guys work. They're very reliable. Let's put it this way. The 2 things I can say in relation to using this sort of kit, and I'm not promoting this, but using this sort of kit, is that we've got Amazon Prime, and we watched videos on Amazon Prime, and the whole buffering made it unwatchable. Using a system similar to this, our internet is now stable throughout the property, throughout the house, and we can watch Amazon Prime without any problems at all. And now I recommended this kit to Peter Stewart up in Aberdeen, and he tried it out, and he said, and I quote, that it's the best thing that he's bought this year. So there you are, Deco, D-E-C-O, and I'll type the name in. If you want to go on the trail and look for it, then just look for Deco, and this Wi-Fi works. The reason I'm promoting it is it's British, and it's the best of British. Okay, so there it is. Correct. So Deco is where I was just showing you a moment. Right, if you have any questions, then please do. If you want to check out OBS, then go to obsprojects.com. If you want to check out Kenyon's videos about OBS, then also we've got a link. If you just scroll up, you'll see a link from Kenyon, which will tell you all about OBS. He's done videos on it. And I'm not one for reinventing the wheel. OBS has been around for quite a while, and is an awesome product, and it's free. So the question you might be asking is, if it's free, why don't you use it for your broadcasts? Why do you use BeLive? BeLive is out of the box. It works. 4 people on screen. I don't need to do anything. I give you a link, and you can come onto the broadcast, and we could have 4 people on screen, and there'd be nary a problem. I do not need to send you anywhere else other than to my studio. The same is true of things like Zoom as well. The same principle. When you get to OBS, OBS is absolutely amazing when it's just you. Absolutely. There's nothing better to be going live solo, OBS or vMix or XSplit. But when you want to bring in that second or third or fourth person, then it's not that easy. The recommended way to bring people into OBS, and Kenyan's listening to this and wondering what is he going to say, is that you bring people in via Skype and then bring Skype into your OBS studio. Now, I've not tried that. Kenyan, if you tried that, I'd like to know what you feel about that. And Chris is confirming BeLive is easy and very simple to use. So I'd love to hear what, because I haven't tried Skype with OBS. I don't need to because I've got BeLive. But if anybody has tried Skype with OBS, then I'd be most interested in your thoughts. And we have another viewer. And it's up to James J. Always got lag with OBS and couldn't get comments on the screen. Also trying to get guests on OBS. Right, okay. Okay. I'm suggesting if you use OBS solo, you should be okay. It is trial and error. You've got to try it out. Depends on the power of your machine. It depends on your internet connection. James is just remarking that he's got lag with OBS and couldn't get comments on the screen. Also, trying to get guests on OBS was next to impossible for it to work smoothly. BeLive is so much easier. I want that bit on the screen. I want BeLive is so much easier on the screen. Yeah, I mean, this is where BeLive, Zoom, and everybody actually scores because of the ease of operation from a producer's point of view. You don't have to rely on other software. And Kenyan's saying that he uses messenger rooms. And that's interesting. Okay, so you share the messenger room into OBS. And you're right. Okay, I'm going to investigate that. This is wonderful. If there's one thing that live broadcasters like, other than broadcasting, that is, it's actually having some new toys to play with. Because in live broadcasting arena, there's always something new to be tried. Now, in groups, the latest is, as Kenny just said, messenger rooms. And if you've got a Facebook group, you can have a messenger room, live video. And not only that, according to Maury Smith, who always gets it right, you can actually go live with a messenger room on Facebook. So you can bring everybody in your messenger room. You can keep it private. That's initially what the design was for. But Facebook have now said you can take that room live. Now, obviously, everybody has to agree with it, but messenger rooms can go live on Facebook. And over to James. And all right, and it's okay. Yeah. When you're used to free, then paying is anathema. I agree. But if you start a Patreon and that's funding the account, then all good. If you've not heard of Patreon before, if you're doing live broadcasts and you want to be sponsored for those live broadcasts and you're going to create content for the people who do sponsor you, then you can go to patreon.com and I'm going to bring it up on screen because it's important. You can see, but I started at Patreon. Where it says Patreon, and that's the correct spelling, patreon.com is a site where you can set up an account and you can invite people to chip in on a regular basis or a one-off basis, but on a regular basis, subscribe and pay for your content. Now, this is obviously not publicly available content. This is content that you are providing in a private Facebook group or elsewhere. And through Patreon, you can actually get a contribution. And as James has just said, he's covering his BeLive subscription using that method. And James again. All right. And also, we're going BeLive versus OBS. BeLive makes customizing a lot easier. There's no resizing, adjusting. BeLive does it all for you. Right. I'm going to leave that on the screen a second. Okay. So I can get a screenshot of that. Okay. And oh, wow. Okay. And customizing a lot easier. And over to Kenyan. Kenyan saying, James J. Williams, it's hard to get a guest on with OBS. Now, if you have OBS and Zoom running at the same time, you have a better chance. Have a better CPU power. You've got to have a CPU to handle it. Okay. And yeah. Right, okay, just highlighted, I went blurry for a moment, which was my doing. If you've got a green screen and you've got a green screen background, don't move around. Practice being in one place. Yeah, because if you make sudden movements on a green screen, then it's not going to work. You need to be steady. Just saying. And okay, Kenyon and James, thank you very much for your help. And we've obviously hit the right note today because we found somebody who knows all about OBS. So thank you, Kenyon, for that. Okay, anything else? Okay, right. It's been my pleasure to talk to you all today and hopefully answer your questions. If you've got questions after the broadcast, then please do add them in the post. And I'll go, as I say, an hour after the show, I go through all the comments. If I missed anything, I actually make a comment. If I've got further information, then I make a comment. And it's all part of networking. Other than that, I do have a series. I'm going to try this. This should work. Basically, when you've actually finished broadcasting, and I'm coming up towards the hour, I'm going to be using this in a minute. I've invented, is one for a better word, a count out clock, which counts the show out. So it's not a countdown to the show, it's a count out from the show, as you'll see in a moment. And what I love about the clocks that I'm doing is that people are actually using them in their broadcasts. And Bosco and so many people. Absolutely brilliant. Right, if you'd not, all right, okay. And people are talking to each other. And Kenyon is saying, BeLive is first time beginner or someone that can technical. I agree with that. It's so easy to start. And over to James saying, Kenyon, Ellis, I have a ton going on. It's just a lot easier being a travel agent, podcast host, blogger, and a full-time job. Wow. Okay. Yep. Okay. And brilliant. Okay. You've made connection with each other. I hope that that goes on to be a full-blown conversation. I've enjoyed your company, and I want to say thank you to everybody who's watched live. Chris, Jerry, Kenyon, Bosco, Lisa, Kent, and James. And anybody I've missed, my apologies. I do so enjoy Tuesday at 12 p.m. in the Belivers group. I'm having a week's holiday, he said. And I'm actually on holiday this week. And I did ask permission of my partner. I need to go live once. And she said, yes, of course you can. So that's why I'm live in the Belivers group today. And you won't see me live anywhere else. And over to James. Your clocks are amazing. We're working our show starts. Oh, brilliant result. Fantastic. Okay. And well, you can't get better than that. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next week when I'm back on duty. And I'm going to bring up onto stage, because I think this is only right and proper. I'm going to go picture in picture. I'm going to go full screen. And let's just check any more comments. Right, okay. I'm just going to go and I'm going to hide myself and just say, oh, wait a minute. All right, okay. Update from the UK. Quick question from Kenyon. We are at the moment, everything's virtually opened up now. Gyms and swimming pools open over the next month. Everything else is open. We've got to wear masks in closed areas, but ostensibly life is returning to somewhat normal. Queues outside shops, but we got used to that. Masks inside shops, we got used to that. At the moment, as far as the figures are concerned, they're showing a downward trend, and long may that continue. The biggest problem we have in the UK, which every country is going to have, is the economy and getting the economy going again. and it's not going to be easy. It's not an easy thing to do, to actually start up. And I wish success to everybody. And James is saying it's a staycation, James. I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Although today we did go out and go to a park run. Right. Okay. And question from Alaji. Is it possible to have 2 cameras at a time on the BeLive? Yes, it is. One can be your main camera, and you could also bring in a secondary camera as well, but not a mobile. If you want to bring in your own mobile, then use AirDroid, and I'll post a link afterwards as to how you can actually get AirDroid. If it is your own camera, you're doing a demonstration of something, then AirDroid works. And actually, I've just become an ambassador for AirDroid, which I'm looking forward to doing it. So 2 cameras at once, yes, you can. I'll tell you how in the comments afterwards. And right, okay, I think it's fair comment. We'll never recover. People don't want to cooperate in the US. To a lesser extent, we got the same situation in the UK. So I can feel and I do empathize. I don't think we're going to get back to where we were back in February. I think we've got a totally different life ahead of us. But it is one which it just is. So I just want to say to everybody, take care. And I look forward to seeing you again, 12 p.m. Eastern, next Tuesday. Bye for now. And thank you for watching.